What's up, it's Gabe here. In this video, my client Tom, who's 58 years old and lost 51 pounds in less than 5 months, tells you exactly how he did it. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, we have here Mr. Tom Ludden. Tom, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Tom, let's get right into this. Tell the people what results you've seen. How much weight have you lost?
Well, since I started with you in early November, which is 7 months ago now, I have lost 53 pounds. And also I'm, because I do a lot of weight work with the program, a lot more physically capable and stronger than I was
Hmm.
7 months ago. So those would be the two big physical changes that I have gone through in the last 7 months.
Wow. Yeah, 53 pounds down. It's got to feel like you're just in a completely different body compared to 7 months ago.
And in a lot of ways, yeah. I feel like I have, the body I used to have.
Mm.
So, which is, I used to weigh a lot less. And, I had slowly from like 2006 to, last fall,
Mm.
gone from being like 170 pounds all the way up to being close to 235 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a bunch of different things, and I could lose a little bit of weight and then sort of stabilize there and then go back up. But long term, I just kept moving up, and that's not a good thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I needed to do something different.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I know that it was kind of a process of you gaining that weight, right? It was over years. It wasn't just like one random event or life change that caused it. So, what would you describe the struggle as over those years before this past fall where you started?
Well, there was a lot of different things. I mean, it is you have a lot less time when you have kids, and
Mhm.
I was spending a lot of time with them, and I don't regret a second of that. But that was an excuse not to work out, and also it was a time commitment to doing it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, you do go through things in life, and during my 50s, there are a number of family things that just consumed a lot of time that have to when those come up. But there is a consequence to it. I mean, you have to. There's times in your life you have to commit to other things. So
Mhm.
that was part of it, and part of it is just you get into habits.
Mhm.
And I mean, basically, I got into the habit of probably eating 3,000 calories a day
Mhm.
and not eating as well as I could. Um, and that over time is going to slowly but surely and consistently put more weight on, year after year. So that's basically, I'd say, big picture what happened.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Just obviously life circumstances and dealing with other responsibilities plus the habits that came along with that. What do you feel like we did that helped you specifically address those habits?
I think there's a few things. I mean, one, we started off with a pretty big goal for the first 12 weeks, which was losing 30 pounds,
Mhm.
which is a much bigger goal than I ever would have set for myself. I mean,
Mhm.
I'd sort of long term, yeah, I need to lose 50 pounds or I need to lose 60 pounds. But having the goal of in the next 3 months, we're going to go and try to lose 30 pounds. Um, I think second, a much lower calorie total daily than I ever did before.
Mhm.
Started off with something like 1,550 calories a day, and that was a big change. I think third, whenever I kept track of my calories before, whatever I was doing with the apps or everything else, when I would exercise, it would give me more calories, and then
Mhm.
I would then go ahead and eat.
Mhm.
But that was not on your agenda, and that was not part of this plan. So I was doing more working out, and that was burning up more calories, but I was not then eating more calories to make up for the weight that I would for the calories I was burning up.
Mhm.
Um, a couple other things, changing sort of the diet. So with higher protein, it made it a lot easier to eat less.
Mm.
and having a good high protein breakfast every morning, which I've now done for 7 months, I'm not nearly as hungry. I don't need a morning snack, for example.
Mm.
And I mean, so I have a few more less calories at breakfast and I don't have a morning snack. And suddenly that's 300 or 400 calories right there a day.
Hmm.
And that really adds up over time. And then um, there's a couple more things is, the walking.
Hmm.
Um, I have, you guys said like 10,000 calories a day, 10,000 steps a day.
Hmm.
So at first, when I started doing that and keeping track of that, I found out I was probably walking maybe 4,000 steps a day.
Mm.
So when you add up 6,000 steps a day for 7 days a week, that's like walking at least 15 miles. And that's going to burn some calories up on you. And it's something you can also do every day consistently.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because, if you're trying,
I know
trying
that.
to run,
Right.
right?
I know the
Yeah.
walking was one of your stark default actions that you're almost known for in the community. Those 10,000 steps a day.
And yeah, I've just kept going and going and going. I'd say since I started, there's been less than 10 days when I have not walked 10,000 steps. And that's through a winter here in Michigan when we have some tough weather, but I discovered things like, shoveling the driveway would get me 1,500 steps.
Hmm.
And, but I just kept going because I knew that that was an important part of this. So I got a good pair of hiking boots that were waterproof and just kept plodding along, walking every day. And I mean, there's a lot of other benefits to that, I think, as well. Just gives me time to think and gives me some, nice fresh air to walk around in.
Hmm.
Um, and another thing, now that the weather is better, I've been spending a lot more time walking with my wife about half the time. So we get to spend a lot more time together. So that's a big plus.
Yeah.
So that's that also helps do it because we both go do it and have some time together.
Yeah.
So
There's so many benefits to that. And I love that you really leaned hard into that default action. I know you hit a major milestone yesterday in terms of total steps walked over the last 7 months.
it was 2.5 million steps. So then that is almost 12,000 a day. So uh,
That's amazing, man. It's no secret. There's no real shock to why you've seen the results that you've seen, right? Down 53 pounds at 57 years old, right? At an age where most guys say that
um,
it's impossible, right? That there's no way you progress physically with the strength or the weight loss and the metabolism. But yet you've done the work, you've made the commitments, you've been consistent, and 2.5 million steps later, and a lot of grams of protein, like you said, in the morning later, we're down 53 pounds. So I don't think there's really any secrets other than you being committed and doing the work and just making that conscious decision to do what is required to solve this problem. So I really commend you for that.
no, and it's also something that, especially with the walking and then with eating a relatively good lunch and breakfast every day, it's something that I will consistently be able to do moving on into the future.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there's going to be some points in my life where there's going to be crises that come up and problems, or just maybe I hit a point where I will be extraordinarily busy at work, because that does happen sometimes.
Hmm.
And I will be able to at least keep some of it together. But I know that if once that period of time goes by, and if I have put on some weight, I'll be able to get back into what I've been doing, and walking something you can do, a lot longer than just about anything else. So I think it'll be a good long-term solution for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm curious, over the last 7 months, do you feel like you had, or I guess, what do you feel like were the external circumstances that you had to work around over the last 7 months? And how did you work around them to stay consistent?
Um, well, I think that, there's always sort of, if you're in a family, you have to negotiate about meals.
Hmm.
And I mean, not everyone is on quite the same agenda. My sons, they both need to put on weight.
Mhm.
if anything.
Mhm.
So, and they have a little bit different, their tastes are a little different at their age. They're much younger. So you had to make some compromises there, but I was still, I think, able to, by hitting protein for my dinners and also hitting good breakfast and lunch every day, it left me in the position where I could have some more calories and a little bit more flexibility at dinner.
Mhm.
There's part of it was there's bad weather, but it was just, you had to make a commitment to doing it. And, yesterday it was 50 degrees and raining here. And I needed to get my last 4,000 steps in. So, I put on my rain jacket and my waterproof boots and went out and walked in the rain.
Mhm.
Um, and there were quite a few days when it was quite miserable out, January, February, March. But if something's important to you and have a goal, that's something you need to hit and work on. So that's what I did.
Mhm.
So and I knew that I had to lose weight. It's just not good to be as heavy as I was. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm curious, before you started actually placing that importance on your health and losing the weight, what was it that you had tried before working with us that didn't work?
um I think I had tried to watch calories. I probably didn't do it as consistently.
Mhm.
And I think the big thing was I was more eating, okay, I'll go down to 2,400 calories or something.
Mhm.
And I would have progress for a couple of weeks and then I would sort of, oh yeah, I'm doing great. And then I would stop.
Mhm.
So knowing that I had the 12-week goal, knowing that I had my coach
Mhm.
who was checking up on me,
Mhm.
and so I had some accountability there. And knowing I had support from a group of people who were all mostly trying to lose weight. I know some guys are trying to bulk up and get bigger and stronger, but mostly doing the same things. I think having that support um,
Mhm.
was helpful and kept me moving along.
Mhm.
And I think maybe just having that big initial success where I did knock down 10 pounds or so the first 4 or 5 weeks. And that was 4 or 5 weeks that included Thanksgiving and half the Christmas season.
Mhm.
So if I was losing that weight under then, which is a time of year when we all eat too much,
Mhm.
and now I had changed things around and was able to do that, and still be able to do family things and enjoy the season. That gave me some confidence to keep going, and also saw that this was a good plan. It was getting me results, so to keep up with it.
That's
So I
fantastic.
think that, yeah.
Yeah, especially seeing that success through the season in life where, again, most people kind of throw in the towel or create those excuses for themselves that they can't place importance on their health. It seems like you just had that commitment, you had the tools, you had the accountability, like you said, with the community and with your coach, and having that initial burst of confidence because the results really was able to prove to you that this is possible, really through any season, if possible, through Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And a Michigan winter. Don't forget that.
Right. Absolutely. That's
I
that's
mean,
one that we
I know you
forget as
guys.
Florida guys. We forget that one all the time.
Uh, it's terrible. It's 55 degrees out, and they haven't seen the sun for a day. It's like, okay.
I can't even imagine. And we're out there posting pictures in the group of our walks and we're shirtless and getting tan. But you're getting it done either way,
We're
man.
getting windburned and
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All the guys in the group who are in the Midwest or just really anywhere north of the South down here. That is one of the unique obstacles for you guys, but you really made good work of it. So that makes it even more impressive. It almost wouldn't be as impressive if you live down here in sunny Florida. Oh man, I love that. Okay, so at this point, we've lost 53 pounds, right? We've proven ourselves that we're capable of losing the weight and being consistent, and we have these default actions that we're able to stick through any circumstance. What do you feel like is going to, or how do you expect this to actually carry over and be able to stick throughout the rest of your life?
well, I think at first, I was counting every single calorie, and I think that's something you really, really need to do to really see where you were, and also just to get the calories down and really make that initial progress.
Hmm.
I mean, I would say probably over the last 2 months, I always count the calories for breakfast, lunch, and snacks,
Hmm.
and then I haven't been counting for dinner, but I've been trying to keep up good, same habits of hit my protein, don't eat a whole bunch of bread or carbs,
Hmm.
hit the vegetables really good. And so that is something that is manageable.
Right.
The walking is something that is manageable and something I should be able to do consistently.
Hmm.
Um, the weight workouts are something that, because they're a manageable length of time,
Hmm.
get a good stretch in first, half an hour to 45 minutes. Um, that's something that is manageable and that can fit into your day. And because I haven't really lifted weights for a while, I played rugby back in the 1990s, and at
Hmm.
that point I lifted frequently, but I hadn't for over 20 years.
Hmm.
So that's going to be new for me for a while, is lifting weights. So that I can keep going, I think.
That's awesome.
And
That's fantastic.
so I think those will all be things that I can keep doing consistently moving forward.
Hmm. That's great. Yeah. So in terms of obviously the impact of this, we see how it's affected your weight. We talked about how it's affecting how your clothes fit and how that has changed, how it's affecting your health and just how you feel. What do you feel like has been the overall impact of this other than just the number on the scale?
Well, that's a pretty big thing. I mean, because I'm at an age, I just recently turned 58. I'm at an age where we're carrying 50 pounds around that I shouldn't have on me
Hmm.
is really going to start to cause problems.
Right.
I mean, or at least it's going to be a risk factor. So I think cardiovascularly, it should really benefit me over the next 20, 30, however long I have.
Hmm.
And I should have longer. I mean, even if I don't, there's more things I can do.
Hmm.
I can get out, I can do more things than I could before. So that's all good. Um, so I think that's a big thing right there. Um, I think my two sons are proud of me about how much better I look and how much more fit than I was not so long ago. So that's always that. If your sons are proud of you, it makes you happy. You'll know someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
All I know is the perspective of a son right now, but I can only imagine.
Right. So that makes you feel good that they're pleased with you. And my younger son is he's going through a weightlifting phase. So we talk about our gains.
Yeah.
And but he's 17, so he can go do a whole lot more and put on a whole lot more muscle than I am. But
Mhm.
we still have something to talk about now about, like, oh, you're doing an arm day today. Okay, I see that.
Oh man,
You
that's
know. So
awesome.
that's fun. It's something we haven't been able to do before.
Mhm.
So
That's really valuable. And that's something that I'm sure you cherish, and I'm sure that he cherishes as a 17-year-old, being able to relate to his dad in that way, and that's something he's going to thank you uh, for decades to come. So that's awesome to hear. That's what this is all about, really, right? The number on the scale is amazing. The health is obviously invaluable, right? But hearing about how it impacts your relationships and hearing about how it feels good to know your sons are proud of you, that's really why we do all of this. So I'm really happy to hear that, Tom. Tom, last question here is, if there's somebody who is in similar shoes, maybe life kind of happened or they had other responsibilities and they started to develop these habits where they're gaining weight gradually year over year, why should they take action and make a change in their life?
well, I mean, the reason I decided to try it was what I was doing wasn't working. And I think there's that definition of insanity of you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So what I had been doing wasn't working. I looked at some general things you guys talked about, and it made sense. So I decided, well, it's time to make a change, and we'll see if this works out. And it seems to be rational, but let's see. And it certainly has. And I remember my first call, I thought, like, well, yeah, threw out the number of 30 pounds in 12 weeks, you know, 50 pounds total. And I didn't think, I'm like, I might as well just pull these numbers out because it doesn't hurt me. I'm talking to somebody. So but you know, we had a plan, and when they said, well, we can do that for you. Okay. And you're confident, and you did have the plan. So I followed it very consistently and made improvements. And then here I am, and I'm in a place where I can keep going. So that's all good. So if it's definitely worth it, if that's a concern of yours, if that's what you want to do, then it's, you can make a change and accomplish that. So
That's fantastic, Tom. You've been a leader in the community. You set the example in so many different ways with not just your results, but your consistency. And I think that you've gotten every single thing that you've worked for, my friend. There are no surprises with what you're seeing. So we're proud of you. Thank you so much for your time here today. Thank you for sharing your success with all the other guys who are going to be viewing this and using it as inspiration for themselves. We appreciate you, Tom.
okay, well, I wanted to say thank you once again for everything you guys have done for me. So I've been, me and my family. So
thank you, Tom. We appreciate you.
That wraps up the interview with Tom. Now, if you're a family-minded man who wants to lose 10% of your body weight without giving up your favorite foods or gaining any of the weight back, then go to defaultkings.com and book a free brainstorming chat today.